Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us for the last 7 days. I'm Brian Spellman.
And I'm Andrew Sparrow.
And I'm Greg Stewart.
And this is the show where we have conversations about the news.
Yep. We'll look at aerospace, automotive manufacturing, and high tech.
So coming up,
HII opens new healthy food market.
International defense partnerships are growing.
Boeing is adding a potential strike to their list of headaches.
While Airbus
is just
crushing it. I guess we had to emphasize that one. Toyota invests $1 billion in Kentucky.
Tesla has steering issues and fines.
And GoPro is developing a brand new, very cool helmet.
And Apple is innovating debatable again. So without further ado, go.
First up, in a move to enhance the well-being of its workforce, HII, which is Huntington Ingalls Industries, I like HII for short, their Newport News shipbuilding division has unveiled a new 24/7 micro market, which provides round-the-clock access to nutritious food options for both shipbuilders and Navy personnel. So the micro market is strategically located to serve those working on aircraft carriers and submarines, particularly during the refueling and complex overhaul operations. I mean, at the end of the day, this is making sure that employees have that round-the-clock access to healthy food options. They've got a workforce of 44,000 employees. I love that they're as dedicated to the care of their workforce as they are to, assisting in national security.
Yeah, I guess if there was going to be a shipbuilding company that was going to do something like this, it would be HII. They are the US's largest shipbuilding company.
Oh.
That makes sense.
South Korea is set to export air defense systems to Saudi Arabia in a monumental $3.2 billion deal. In a revelation that took everyone by surprise, South Korea's defense ministry unveiled the details of a significant deal signed back in November. The disclosure coincides with the ongoing World Defense Show, when both nations solidified their commitment to strengthen defense cooperation through an MOU. And still in Saudi Arabia, Saudi Arabia sign an MOU for A&D collaboration opportunities. So Leonardo and Saudi Arabia have just inked an MOU at the World Defense Show as well. Let's dive into the details. The Saudi Minister
like a Wolf of Wall Street kind of thing, or a Titanic kind of thing?
Both.
What's Leonardo da Vinci got to do with Wolf of Wall Street?
Lots of innovation in drawing. I don't know.
True, innovation. He was. This is the innovation show very much. So the Saudi Ministry of Investment, the General Authority for Military Industries, and Leonardo have signed the MOU to explore various investment and collaboration opportunities in the defense and aerospace sector. The strategic move encompasses a wide range of areas, including space, airframe maintenance, electronic warfare systems, and much, much more. So let's shift it into our favorite topics of CAD, PLM, virtual manufacturing, and MESMOM. Given how complex A&D is, guys, what role do you see for CAD, PLM playing in the design and development phases of this new one?
That is an interesting question, because I can't actually imagine doing anything in this sector without having a good CAD system, a good PLM system. There's so many requirements, it's so worked into the process at this point. I don't know how you would do it without one. I think that question is, you to simply put, you have to have a system that works for your needs.
Yep. Yeah. And equally so on the virtual manufacturing side of things as well. I couldn't imagine a new manufacturing operation going ahead without some kind of virtual manufacturing, without a process plan, without factory layouts, without simulation on robotics, would be kind of crazy. So I hope they don't miss that trick to get them moving forward. Also, South Korea and the US are now exploring a joint ship weapons maintenance opportunity. An intriguing international collaboration is on our radar right now. South Korea and the US are delving into discussions about joint ship and weapons maintenance opportunities. In a series of releases from South Korea's defense ministry, he's been a busy boy this week. It's been revealed that the nations are exploring the potential for South Korea's defense industry in assisting maintenance, repair, and overhaul, MRO, for warships and weapons of the US. The strategic move, in discussions for a year now, extends beyond ships to MRO services for weapons, aiming to enhance their domestic MRO capabilities and therefore shorten maintenance periods. Again, complex area.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see CAD PLM and onwards getting involved in this whole MRO area?
Is this where you get to talk about your favorite thing of Mess Mom?
Kinda. But take a run at it.
I mean, I think that it's, besides going straight there, you've got the collaboration that we've talked about a lot before, and the need for integration, the need for modulation, the need for how do you take new systems, old systems, and put them together in a way that actually works. Because, I've dealt with companies over the years that have, let's say, PLM systems that were created in the 80s, and then they're trying to use that to work with software and programs from the 2020s, which is difficult. And I'm pretty sure in a lot of some government and military applications, there's probably even tougher integrations than that in existence because of all the archive stuff.
I see this whole MRO area being a huge growth area for product lifecycle management. I think it's historically kind of routed down from ERP. You've taken your bill of materials, you put it together with a finance system, and you start to maintain using manuals. This world is really shifting now. I think what we're seeing is that we're pulling through that original CAD data all the way through product lifecycle into assembly. And Mess Mom, you did touch on it. It does go in there. But then once you've got your aircraft coming back in, or your ship coming back in, your weaponry, is that you're able to bring in your service bomb from its originated CAD model. You've got it pulling into your Mess Mom, where instead of assembly, you've got disassembly. So I think really MRO is a natural extension of product lifecycle management. So this is big, huge growth area that we're seeing, and something we're getting involved in with more and more A&D organizations today than we've ever seen before.
Andrew, speaking of military spending, did you all know that Canada has a Navy?
No.
Yeah, they've got it. Of course, it gets pretty cold and wet up there. They've got a good coastline.
Figure it's all ice, right?
So the Royal Canadian Navy has just acquired the Systems Engineering and Assessment, or SEA, torpedo launch systems. So SEA Canada has been awarded £15.1 million, or $19 million, to produce lightweight torpedo launch systems for the Royal Canadian Navy. Now, torpedo launch systems are good for close range, rapid reaction, capable of launching just about every NATO standard lightweight torpedo. So this, is going to allow naval forces to, launch stuff when they need to. The Royal Canadian Navy's ongoing major vessel programs include the construction of the Canadian surface combat ships, which are slated to be equipped with lightweight torpedoes and twin launch tubes. And there are 15 of these ships planned for construction by the 2040s. Now, 2040 sounds like a long way away, but if you think about it, any torpedoes born this year are going to be teenagers by 2040.
Wow.
Yeah. And I guess, you know what? 2040 is closer now than 2000.
Oh,
well, you're pondering that.
You heard it here first.
In other great, exciting news, Kinetic also wins a Royal Navy contract. The Aurora Engineering Development Partnership is a cooperation between Kinetic, Atkins Realis, and BMT, has won a $15 million contract to provide support and service for the Royal Navy. Under the 5-year contract, this is going to ensure the necessary systems, equipment, maintenance, and spares and everything are made available for the Royal Navy and Royal Fleet Auxiliary Operations, which means that this contract is one that is basically designed to cover the portion of PLM after something's already deployed and in use.
Yep. So same thing again. It's that MRO growth piece coming through, isn't it? Yeah.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, Babcock International Group and Supercat have officially launched the production of 70 high mobility transport HMT Jackal 3s for the British Army. The production is underway at a specially developed facility in Babcock's Devonport site and Supercat's manufacturing facilities in Dunkeswell. I'm not sure where that is, but it sounds exotic, doesn't it?
It sounds exotic. And is Supercat a superhero I've been unaware of previously?
Could be. This
new one.
machine is a superhero. This isn't about quantities. This is signifying a leap forward in advanced military vehicle technology. The Jackal vehicles are designed for exceptional off-road mobility, allowing them to operate in various terrains. And they are often used for reconnaissance, rapid response, and fire support roles. Cool stuff.
Wow. Yeah, that's exciting. I wonder if they'll ever get into the commercial side of things. In other news, Boeing faces
commercial tanks.
That's I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, great. Okay.
Commercial.
There are parts of the world you probably would buy one. Yeah.
Yeah, I would. I was going to say commercial off-road vehicles. I'd be interested if it happens to come with some defensive capabilities. Sure, it could be exciting. Okay. While Boeing is still dealing with the fallout from a structural blowout a couple weeks ago on an Alaska Airlines jet, they are beginning negotiations with the largest union that they have there at Boeing, the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, which the acronym for that is easier than what I just said. It's IAM. We'll go with IAM. I think that's IAM. I think that's fun. But the current contract between Boeing and IAM expires in September 2024 here, and a strike could shut down Boeing facilities in Oregon and Washington, already affecting the impacted 737 assembly line. So we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you updated as we get more news on this, right? But the last negotiation was about a decade ago, 10 years ago, and it barely passed. I think it was a 51% approval. Now, the union is demanding a 40% pay raise over the next 3 to 4 years. They want to reinstate quality inspections, which is probably recommended based on current events, but and then a couple other kind of defined pension changes and out-of-pocket health costs and more flexible overtime, stuff like that. But the interesting part about this is analysts are estimating that a 10% increase in wages could reduce Boeing's 2026 free cash flow by $260 million before productivity and price offsets. I think that's a pretty massive impact, and I'm a little concerned about Boeing's future based on everything that's going on.
I'm trying to get to a solution on this kind of thing, and obviously we're not close enough to this. But you've got to say there's clearly errors made. I thought it was like a door with 4 bolts missing coming off the back of the manufacturing line.
Yeah,
is that human error? Yeah, it is, isn't it? And so that request for more money, there's human error taking place. There's an argument that they're not paid enough, so you're not getting good enough people, but 4 bolts are 4 bolts. So I think, that this whole thing is a real mashup and very confusing. So clearly they need something like a good mess mom, which they already have.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
No, they do have one. They've got a really good MES solution in there. Maybe they need something that's a little bit more foolproof in terms of augmented reality, reminder systems that actually is projecting, that's constantly reminding people to do this. But human error is in here, and wage rises when those things are going on. It's going to be a difficult conversation to be had.
Yeah, I don't envy Boeing's leadership as they're navigating these skies, waters.
Well, how they get to the root cause of all this,
Yeah.
I think, just so I can recap what you just said, I believe what you said, Greg, was that the fallout from a blowout could lead to a walkout.
That's yep. In summation, I think you hit the nail on the head there.
So BAE has just delivered the first test vehicle of the amphibious. Let me try that one more time.
Yeah, amphibious.
BAE Systems has just delivered the first test vehicle of the amphibious combat vehicle 30mm cannon, the ACV-30 variant, to the U.S. Marine Corps. This delivery is part of an $88 million deal that started in 2022, which covers the initial phase of the ACV-30 initiative, focusing on research, development, testing, and evaluation of the new variant. Work for these ACVs is taking place in Virginia, California, Michigan, South Carolina, and Pennsylvania. The ACV is an 8-wheel drive vehicle capable of operating in ocean environments, hence amphibious. Amphibious. That is such a hard word for me to say today. Entering service in 2021, the ACVs were conceptualized to replace the Marine Corps assault amphibious vehicles, which have been in service since, when do you guys think? 1972.
Wow.
Oh, okay. That needs a real overhaul. Yep.
A bit of an overhaul.
You bet. NATO orders 84 anti-armor weapons from Saab. So Swedish defense company Saab has recently clinched a major contract with NATO for these 84s. It's a 63 million euro, or in real money, $67.6 million. Sorry, Europe. I'm Brexit. I'm allowed it. Anyway, contract to deliver 84 man-portable anti-armor weapons to NATO. This order falls under the alliance's ammunition support partnership, a framework that streamlines procurement and supply processes for over 20 international force members. The 84 systems are scheduled for delivery in 2026-27, enhancing NATO's capabilities in dismounted troop operations. This 84 is designed to equip dismounted troops with easy-to-use and rapid-firing capability. Saab highlights its 84mm caliber anti-tank technology suitable for day and night operations and boasting confined space abilities. You guys seen this? It's really very cool. It's like this huge cannon on top of your shoulder.
Yeah, I want
a giant didgeridoo.
Is this is this week's weapon of the week?
It is. It's the weapon of the week. It deserves it, doesn't it?
I think it does.
I wish we had a photo because it would deserve it. We wouldn't even question it.
It is, the weapon of the week.
Yep.
FACC celebrates 35 years of innovation. 2024 marks the 35th anniversary of FACC, which is the Austria-based aircraft interior supplier. Since its foundation in 1989, the company has grown from a small team working in the Fisher Ski and Tennis Research Department to become a global player in the aerospace industry. Wow. So I just assume that means you're skiing really fast off of a jump and just get airborne and just keep flying.
It's a big leap.
It is thank you for giving us. Finally, we got it. We got a pun from Andrew.
Yeah.
One of the key things that FACC has been working on is the idea of minimizing weight, which means, of course, lower fuel consumption for aircraft operators. Interestingly enough, you're not going to find a single major aircraft that does not have FACC equipment on board. So whether you're talking about Boeing, Embraer, Bombardier, Collins, Rolls-Royce, Pratt & Whitney, Airbus, all of them have something from FACC on them.
Yep.
Man.
It's a big leap.
You had to get in there again.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Speaking of Airbus and milestones, Brian, I'm glad you mentioned that. An impressive milestone from Airbus in January 2024, which wasn't long ago, right? Last week, Airbus has secured a remarkable 31 orders. And here's the standout. All of them are for the A350 aircraft. In a surprising turn of events, the A350 has taken the lead, contributing to Airbus's successful start to the year. The orders came from two major customers, Delta Airlines and Ethiopian Airlines, further bolstering Airbus's robust backlog. On top of the 31 orders, they also delivered 30 aircraft in January, which is just a strong start to the year, both in orders and deliveries. So I think their current backlog now stands at an impressive 8,599 aircraft. Man,
Ouch.
when they hit 10,000, they should throw a party. Call me. It'd be great. I can
Yeah,
help
but they're
plan it.
producing 30 a month, and
Yeah.
that's impressive. And the backlog's 8,600.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Is this more supply chain issues?
Yeah, I'm going to say because Airbus have really got their kind of design engineering mess moms, rolling well. They're really efficient operators, so it has to be supply chain, hasn't it? And this is a huge disparity between production and backlog. So to me, clearly the retrofitting aviation sector is going to be really alive and active, which is an MRO solution in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to do more MRO, guys, and retrofitting, because look at that backlog. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a crazy backlog, which requires lots of driving.
That was a really bad bridge.
So,
Yeah, I think we'll keep on trucking.
Oh my. What are
on a
you
roll.
on today? Are you
I'm on a
Andrew?
roll.
Are you feeling okay?
the Postal Service has a plan to cut greenhouse gas emissions that includes Oshkosh electric vehicles. The U.S. Postal Service just announced a sweeping plan to reduce greenhouse emissions by diverting more parcels from air to ground transportation, boosting the number of electric vehicles and cutting waste sent to landfills, and trying to make all of their delivery routes more efficient. The Postmaster General described a mix of initiatives for cost cutting and for environment that are going to reduce the Postal Service contribution to greenhouse gas by 40% by 2030, and apparently save an estimated $5 billion by consolidating smaller facilities into larger ones to eliminate all of the smaller thousands and thousands of trips a day that they have to take for moving stuff around. The Postal Service plans to take delivery of 66,000 electric vehicles over the next 5 years, which includes about 10,000 vehicles from Ford this year, and a handful of next-generation delivery vehicles by the year's end from Oshkosh, which won the contract to convert the fleet of aging vehicles. Now, this contract to convert a fleet of aging vehicles is pretty big news for Oshkosh, even though it's not going to come delivered until 2026 to 2028, because the current vehicles that are delivering your mail every day went into service sometime between 1987 to 1994.
Wow.
They look like it, don't they? They do look like it.
They literally haven't changed in over 20 years.
Yeah. Although I do recall, because 66,000 vehicles, 10,000 from Oshkosh.
10,000 from Ford and other ones from Oshkosh.
Gotcha. But not the balance from Oshkosh, because to me, I think there's a number of different EV manufacturers who are starting to supply these. I was with one of them going back maybe 3-4 years ago, which was owned by Geely, the Chinese, and I saw one of those on the manufacturing floor going through. So there's a real range coming through. For me, it's not a cheap way to go, because you got to remember a lot of the kind of consumer EVs are subsidized all around the world. So it's a heavy cost for them. Hopefully they've figured that out. And imagine they've kept the battery size is down to a lower range, I would imagine. But then what about infrastructure? What have we got out there for charging? I guess the Postal Service has to have its own charging facility as well when they're getting these EVs coming in. I'd imagine.
And what about when it's cold out? I mean, we know what happened in Chicago with all of Tesla's vehicles. So that's certainly something that they deliver everywhere in the US. So they're going to have to find out some creative solutions there.
Yeah, especially this year. We had some crazy was it -70 in North Dakota or something? Yeah.
What was the slogan like, through rain and snow and sleet or whatever that the post office slogan used to be? Is it going to be everything except for cold now?
Yeah.
Might have to go get your own mail.
Rain and sunshine. Toyota is to invest $1 billion in Georgetown, Kentucky facility to make a new electric SUV. They are not alone. Kentucky is a big area for these EVs and batteries and gigafactories going in. Toyota will invest $1.3 billion at its flagship in Georgetown, Kentucky, the facility for future electrification efforts, including the assembly of an all-new 3-row battery electric SUV for the US market. These guys are also going hydrogen, and maybe they're going to be looking at some of this new battery technology, which we're going to come on to a little bit later in the show, I think. So the investment also supports the previously announced future battery electric vehicle, the BEV assembly at Toyota, Kentucky. It adds a battery pack assembly line to the facility with batteries being supplied by Toyota Battery Manufacturing, North Carolina.
Yeah. I mean, always exciting to see the investment into these electric vehicles. On the flip side of things, the U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the NHTSA, has escalated its investigation into steering problems that are affecting over 334,000 different Tesla electric vehicles, moving closer to a potential recall. Right, this follows an increase in both consumer complaints regarding loss of steering and a couple different models. I think the Model Y and the 3, with total complaints rising to 115, in addition to over 2,100 reports solicited from Tesla. So not only are drivers reporting issues such as loss of steering control, but it's also being accompanied by error messages that are indicating reduced or disabled power assist. Some drivers are experiencing difficulty turning the steering wheel, while others noted it just required more effort. So I don't know. Notably, there's been a couple of instances with Tesla's obstructing traffic, with over 50 vehicles needing to be towed due to these issues. We'll see as this investigation continues what Tesla is going to do about it.
Yep. Tesla, breaking news over in California. But Tesla is facing the aftermath of a civil case settlement, another one coming at them. But as many would say, all publicity is good publicity. Let's see. It seems to be that way with Tesla. California judge has ordered the electric vehicle giant to pay $1.5 million over alleged hazardous waste violations at its service centers, energy facilities, and factory. In a complaint filed in San Joaquin County, Tesla was accused of mishandling hazardous waste, including illegal disposal and violation of storage and management laws. The case involved 25 district attorneys across California, and the settlement was announced on Friday. Tesla actually owns and operates 57 car service centers, 18 solar energy facilities. The settlement includes a hefty sum of $1.3 million in civil penalties, with an additional $200,000 earmarked for the covering costs of the investigation, employee training, and third-party waste audits.
SAF Holland has acquired a suspicion. This is apparently a murder mystery now. Let's try that again. SAF Holland acquires a suspension manufacturer. The SAF Holland is one of the world's leading suppliers of trailer and truck components, and they announced they're acquiring Tecma from Verona, Italy, which is a manufacturer of special axle systems and suspensions.
So now I'm going to move on to batteries. You know, I'm a big fan of ever advancing battery technologies because everybody's criticizing batteries of low range or things setting on fire. It's in very early stage technology, let's be honest. So I always get excited when I hear about a new technology on the battery side of things for EVs. So China is betting big on sodium ion as a next gen battery technology. So where Chinese companies are making significant strides in the development of sodium ion batteries, these batteries are touted as lithium-free alternatives and therefore gaining attention for their potential to revolutionize the industry. It's a big shift. While a critical and scarce raw material has been a primary component in traditional EVs, lithium that is, one of the key players, BYD, the world's largest electric vehicle seller, is making headlines with a whopping $1.4 billion investment in sodium-ion battery plant in Zhuzhou. And it's not just BYD, Farasys Energy and JMEV based in Jiangxi are also in the race, showcasing the world's first electric vehicle powered by sodium-ion batteries. Even CATL, which is the world's largest EV battery maker, is not being left behind, and they're actively working on something similar. So let's just dive into this a little. According to Andy Zhu from Deloitte China, Chinese firms are seeking a more cost-effective and readily available alternative to lithium-ion batteries. Not just the Chinese, we're doing the same. I think the world is looking for the same. But what are the challenges associated with sodium-ion technology? Well, Zhu cautions that while the potential is enormous, sodium-ion batteries currently have smaller capacities and shorter lifespans compared to their lithium-ion counterparts. This limitation makes them more suitable for EVs with lower speeds and shorter ranges, or for energy storage purposes. So, guys, I don't know if you've heard about the sodium ion thing. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Is it shorter, lower capacity because we're getting them in an early stage of technology? I don't know. What do you know?
Are you saying that we can basically just power our cars from, the salt shaker on our table?
Get the old bicarb out, hey? Yeah.
Yep. I mean, from what we know on sodium ion batteries, they're obviously being hailed as a lithium free alternative, but there's definitely some key characteristics. And from a performance standpoint, they show promise, right? I mean, Zhu's caution is valid. While they offer that lithium substitute, the trade-off comes with smaller capacities and shorter lifespans. I mean, this is going to make them better suited for certain applications, maybe for the postal office, like electric vehicles with specific speed and range requirements, right? Or energy storage solutions. So
last mile delivery, yeah, all that good stuff. Guys, I'm going to leave you to it. I'm going to run. Got meetings to go to. Good luck. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Did you know that? Well, let me start here. What is one of the biggest customers for NVIDIA and AMD?
Oh man, it wouldn't be Dell.
So it's Meta.
Oh.
Facebook is one of the biggest customers, but Meta is actually going to finally start rolling out its own homegrown AI accelerators. They confirmed their desire to supplement the deployments of NVIDIA and AMD recently, but they are now going to actually come out with their own Meta Training Inference Accelerator, or MTIA, family of chips. They're going to deploy an inference optimized processor, which is reportedly codenamed Artemis. So Meta, as we know, has been one of NVIDIA and AMD's best customers, and now they're going to be increasing their own need and using their own software and chips to help run stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens when the Instagram giant develops its own processor. I guess that's really not super surprising news. I mean, it seems like it's the next step there.
No, definitely makes sense. I certainly think that it's going to be an interesting marketplace as they enter, right? NVIDIA and AMD have been in the marketplace for so much longer that I wonder how much more up to speed they are. But it'll be interesting.
NVIDIA's been in the news a lot last year for being the lead in the forefront of AI chips. So we'll see how good somebody else does in catching up.
Yeah, we'll see.
So we lost Andrew, but now we're going to at least get to hear from Joseph.
Joseph.
Las noticias tech, lo que tenemos para esta semana es qué es lo nuevo que está haciendo Apple. Bueno, habíamos visto la semana pasada que salieron los nuevos Vision Pro, que se ven bien interesantes, todo este tipo de realidad aumentada que podemos tener, se ve súper fancy, ¿no? Pero ahora lo que están haciendo es un nuevo modelo para el iPhone. Ya se platicaba y también se criticaba mucho de que, bueno, no hay mucha innovación por el lado físico como tal, porque todo estaba concentrado realmente en su software como tal, ¿verdad? Entonces, al estar haciendo esto, están incluyendo inteligencia artificial, pero ahora viene un nuevo modelo que va a ser más interesante todavía. Entonces, lo que están planeando es en hacer un modelo que se pueda doblar como tal. Y bueno, va a ser muy parecido al Samsung Galaxy Fold que estábamos viendo ya anteriormente. Pero ahora, ¿qué es lo interesante? Las colaboraciones que está haciendo Apple con los competidores. ¿Por qué? Porque este mecanismo y este sistema, Samsung ya tiene varios años en el mercado desarrollándolo. Entonces, será Samsung quien va a estar desarrollando este nuevo mecanismo justo para Apple. Entonces, bueno, va a ser un tema, ¿no? Cómo es que entre competidores se están desarrollando estas alianzas y bueno, así es como viene el nuevo iPhone. Foldable.
I don't think in a million years I would have ever guessed there would be a collaboration between a Android phone maker and Apple.
No. It's interesting. Part of the reason I feel like a lot of people buy Apple is because the product is they know the product. They know the system that it used. I'm not sure how I feel about a foldable iPhone or a foldable iPad. I love how it is now. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. I don't know if I'll be the first one to jump over to a foldable iPhone, but
See, you don't like it right now because Apple doesn't make one, but as soon as they do,
yeah. I'm gonna be like, oh, this is beautiful, as I do with all of their other products. That's if there's one thing that Andrew and I can agree on, we're big Apple fans. So
I remember seeing the one that could like fold both ways and still work. That was cool. So yeah,
we'll see. In other news, Carlyle Companies agrees to sell St. Augustine-based subsidiary for $2 billion. Carlyle said on February 7th that it agreed to sell its St. Augustine-based subsidiary, Carlyle Interconnect Technologies, to Amphenol Corporation for $2.025 billion cash. Carlyle IT designs and manufactures wire and cable products, including optical fiber for the commercial, aerospace, military, and defense electronics, medical device, industrial, and test and measurement markets. They do a lot of different things. Amphenol reported sales of $12.55 billion in 2023, and the company expanded with 4 acquisitions during the fourth quarter. So they're starting 2024 off on a strong foot as well.
Greg, when you think of semiconductors, what state comes to mind?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably somewhere on the East Coast, West Coast.
Yes, that if I were to tell you Colorado, you would look at me crazy because you live there.
Yeah,
but
no.
Colorado, the Colorado economic development officials actually have big plans for expanding the semiconductor industry, which is fueled by the federal funding from legislation enacted in 2022 and a series of incentives that the state legislators just approved last year. So chip manufacturers and suppliers in Colorado could land $780 million to $1.2 billion in grants and tax credits through the Creating Helpful Incentives to Produce Semiconductors and Science Act, which of course is abbreviated CHIPS.
Yeah, that tracks.
It does track. It processes, you might even say.
That's right.
The semiconductor industry manager for the Colorado Office of Economic Development and International Trade just said that this is a once-in-a-generation opportunity. The federal government is pouring trillions of dollars into expanding the U.S. productive capacity through the CHIPS Act, the Inflation Reduction Act, and the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. So Colorado is poised to grow from that investment. We know that some of the investment is going to come to Colorado, and that will produce more jobs, high-skill, living wage jobs that you can make into a career. So, yeah, apparently Colorado is now going to be a chip manufacturing place.
I'll have to look into that. That's especially since I'm, a resident of Colorado. I should know this.
And speaking of manufacturing.
Ahora, hay que comentar del tema del reshoring y manufactura aquí en México. También se está volviendo todo un tema de expansión para el sector de high-tech, EMS y bueno, varias otras industrias. Pero más importante y la estrella de hoy va a ser Jabil. ¿Por qué? Porque Jabil está preparando una inversión de $42 millones para poner una nueva planta aquí en Guadalajara. Entonces, estoy consiguiendo por ahí unos permisos con los que, me gustaría ir a visitar la planta. Vamos a ver qué es lo que se está haciendo. Estoy platicando con algunas personas y bueno, si podemos hacerlo, pues hay que ponerlo y vamos a poner aquí un video de qué es lo que están haciendo. ¿Por qué? Porque la inversión no es solamente en una planta como tal, sino que es un tema muy estratégico. Están tratando de crecer y de apoyar el tema de e-commerce para México y para Estados Unidos. ¿Por qué? Porque la demanda sigue creciendo, ¿no? Hay muchísima importación de Asia como tal a México y eventualmente con esto los productos los ponen en el mercado americano. Pero, ¿qué pasaría si puedes tener esa manufactura directo aquí en México? Entonces, todo este tema de supply chain están tratando de acortarlo, ¿sí? Y de esta manera tener un poco más de beneficios. Se ve bien interesante, me queda medio cerca esta planta, entonces yo pienso que para la semana próxima vamos a tener por ahí un especial. Hay que ver si podemos tener un video. Y bueno, vamos a darnos la vuelta en la planta. Platicamos un poquito más de manufactura, qué es lo que están haciendo y todo el tema que están poniendo de automatización y también de tecnología en el piso de producción para la manufactura de todos estos dispositivos. Hombre, va a ser un lujazo.
And man, if Joseph goes to visit the manufacturing plant, I would love to join.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun. Yeah, back in January, and I say back in January as if it wasn't a week ago, but it feels like so long ago.
Hey, it was like
GoPro,
9 days ago at this point.
That's right. That's right. GoPro announced its plans to acquire Australian company Foresight, which designs tech-enabled motorcycle helmets. These helmets usually include features like communications, digital imaging, navigation, safety alerts. Now, GoPro is attempting to close the acquisition by the end of this quarter and is expected to launch its first smart helmets in 2025. I think this is exciting. It's so funny. I went skiing earlier this week and I've got my ski helmet and I absolutely love it. But I bought it when there was, you remember the 3mm jacks that you would plug into things? That's the kind of helmet it is. It's got old technology. So even I see GoPro for motorcycle helmets, but I could see them coming out with some pretty nifty ski helmets in the near future.
Do you have those ski goggles that have the heads-up display inside of them?
I don't. I wish. I've got the regular ones. They make the snow look orange, but it's great.
And thanks for rubbing it into to the rest of the world that you get to go skiing just in your backyard. So,
Yeah.
On that note, that has obviously upset me greatly. Hope everybody has a fantastic weekend, and we will see you all next week.